Hey everyone, it's Smitha. I thought I would come today and talk about something a little different. I did something like this on my Instagram about a year ago, and I thought this would actually be really great for a YouTube video. So the focus of today is on sort of special gold shadows or gold shadows that are gold single shadows that are a little bit more than meets the eye. I would say one of the first really high-end palettes that I just love and adored was the Natasha Denona Gold palette. I think what I really appreciated about that palette, which I think was really ahead of its time in a lot of ways, is the different textures and sort of nuances of gold shadows that it featured. And this is not to knock that palette in any way. I still think it's a great palette, but that was quite a bit before I got into a lot of sort of smaller indie brands that have these really special single shadows. And I thought it was interesting because when I revisited the gold palette after kind of playing with a lot of these sort of really special gold single shadows, it just didn't hold quite the same place in my heart as it did before. And so I thought I would just, go through and swatch some of my special gold shadows for a number of reasons. One is I find that, it's flattering for a lot of people. It is sort of polarizing as a color. I find that people either really love it or really don't love it. But I found that these shadows in particular are ones that people, regardless of how they feel about gold and gold eyeshadow, a lot of people really do love these shadows, at least some of the single shadows that I'm featuring here. So anyway, I'm gonna go in kind of swatch groups of 3 and then kind of like wash off my hand in between each run there. So I'll go through each kind of in detail and talk about why I think it's sort of a special gold shadow. Oh, also, because I know that some people are probably going to be curious about where this empty palette came from. This is a 12 pan palette from Divina, and I am pretty sure they still have this design. So anyway, I really like, this holographic design. It's pretty eye-catching. So my first sort of 3 shadows here are all from Shine by SD, and I really find that Shine by SD has a lot of really special gold shadows, even more than I featured here. But I thought I would pick out 3 that have really, that I've really been drawn to over the past, few years, few months. So the first one that I picked out is Gladiator. And this is sort of like a bronzy gold. I am not sure if, let's see if it says, but I think, so this is part of the Jeweled Dreams collection, and this collection in particular I really love. And this one is super foiled. I don't think it's considered like a foil multi-chrome like some of the others I think I'm going to talk about, but just look at how shiny and smooth it is. Go ahead and swatch it here. It's got this really kind of beautiful bronzy gold quality. It's got a little bit of grunge, and which is something I find that I really gravitate toward in gold shadows. And it's got this pretty green shift. All right, next we have 24K by Shine by SD also. And my 24K shadow has really been used. It's definitely, if I haven't hit pan yet, I'm definitely about to hit pan in the shadow. So this one is a super bright gold. Honestly, one of the brightest golds that I own. And it has also this really kind of beautiful grain shift. It's a little bit more yellow. But when I wear the shadow, I just feel like I always get compliments. It's always so easy to spot. Like when I see other people wear the shadow or swatch the shadow, I always know that it's 24K. And when I told my friend that I was going to do this video, they mentioned 24K. And I said, of course, I'm going to be featuring that shadow. And then third from Shine by SD is Rave. And Rave, like 24K, is also a foil multi-chrome. All of these Shine by SD shadows are super smooth, very foiled, very shiny. And that is Rave. All right, so the next one that I have is from Touch of Glam Beauty, and it's from their recent palette called Not Your Basic Batch. Super cute name. So I took it out. It was, it's a magnetic palette, so it was easy to depot, and then I put a label on it. And all of the shades in this palette, which I do hope we see as singles as well, are super unique, really grungy and sort of interesting. This could really almost be called a green, but I love these gold shadows that are almost a cross between a gold and a green. Just really interesting and dimensional. I think this is the only shadow that I featured from Touch of Glam Beauty, but really is a beautiful shadow. And the texture of this shadow, I would say it's pretty smooth and very sparkly. And I know the owner says that these shadows in the palette are all in the formula of the birthday shadows that she comes out with, in case anyone's curious. My next few shadows are from Terra Moons. I immediately thought of this shade when I thought of making this video. This is Titan, and this is from a few years ago. It's a gray base multi-chrome, and definitely, like, a few of the other golds I featured, super bright, and has some grungy qualities, has a beautiful green shift. You can see that on my finger, and then swatched. And actually, like, unless I was told that the shadow had a gray base, I don't think I would ever know. So beautiful. And then this shade, also from Terra Moons, is called Solar Delirium. This is a really interesting shadow. It's kind of more in their sort of like intense, what are they called, extreme multi-chrome formula, a little bit flaky, which means that it can be, I think, even a little bit more intense on the eyes than some of the non-flaky formulas. And this shadow is something else. It has a really, really beautiful, almost like lime green shift in it. So beautiful. And I know a lot of other people really love this shade as well. And I don't even know if people would consider this a gold, but I thought it was sort of like, you know, close enough, or could be kind of considered in the gold family. I guess that's true of a lot of multi-chromes. They can fit into multiple categories. All right, and then my last shade from Terra Moons is called Gamma Ray. And this is, I think it's from a couple years ago. It's kind of like, again, like a sort of a dark, grungy kind of a gold, almost a bronze, but had to include it as being sort of different gold, a kind of extra special gold. All right, and then I have, I think, 3 from Clionadh. The first one is, I think this one is Ochre. And this one came recommended to me from someone else on Instagram. And I'm so glad that they recommended it. I feel like, you know, when it comes to special golds, I probably have a type, but like, you know, you probably don't need all of these shadows, but hopefully, you know, seeing this is fun and helpful in some way. This one reminds me a lot in its texture and kind of undertones and shifts to Titan from Terra Moons. All right, and then my next one is Chandelier. This is, I like this choice because I don't think I have one in this grouping like it. I would say this is almost like a cool tone type of gold. It's like a champagne almost. And it has a very sort of light and ethereal kind of quality to it. It's almost silvery. It's like a silvery gold. And it's got kind of a purple and green shift, I want to say. And that shadow is from the, actually both of these Clionadh shadows are from the original stained glass line. All right, and then my last 3, this one is from Clionadh. It's the new kind of stained glass extension that came out last summer. This one is called Embellishment. It's a glitter multi-chrome. And again, like super bright. This one is a little bit more textured than some of the other shadows that I've shown. And it has this greenish shift as well. I'll just do one more layer because I think swatch it a little better. And then these 2 shadows is actually pretty cool. I have not had a chance to swatch them. They just came in last night. I had ordered some shades from Mon Professional. Sarah is her name. Her handle on Instagram I will write on the screen now, just so that you can check out her page. She has been making or selling shadows for about a year now, and let me tell you, she has some absolutely beautiful formulas, and I'm so glad that people are starting to discover her shadows. If you look at, this one's called Empress of the Sun. But if you look at my custom palettes, I use her shadows a lot and I wear them a lot. They are all all of the shades that I've tried from her just have something a little bit special and unique about them. So I'm seeing in this shadow kind of like gold bronzy, has some green in it, maybe a little bit of red. So I'm excited to see how this one looks swatched. Wow, that's beautiful. And then also from Sarah is the shade, I am gonna say it wrong, but Amaterasu. It's kind of like more like a yellowy, but include it in the golds, like yellow gold. And there it is swatched on my finger. So excited about this shadow. I don't have very many yellow shadows, and that kind of like are true yellow. So this is yellow gold. Absolutely gorgeous. All right, so those are my 12 shadows that I picked to kind of go through today, swatch, chat about. I'm really curious if we have any favorites in common, and again, like if you like the style of video, if you'd like to see me cover some more categories, it's a lot of fun for me. I'm still kind of getting used to filming YouTube videos, so bear with me, but let me know what you think. Again, like some of the things, my motivation for doing this one in general, which I didn't discuss at the beginning, the days are getting longer, it's getting warmer. You know, there's never a season for a certain type of shade or shadow, but I do find that around this time of year, I do tend to be gravitating a little bit more toward warm shades and warm colors. So anyway, yeah, I'm excited to think about which category I want to do next. And thank you so much for joining, and I'll see you next time. All right, have a great weekend. Bye, guys.